Have you ever been surrounded by people and still felt completely invisible? Have you ever tried your hardest, given your best, and somehow everything still fell apart? There is a moment in everyone's life when the world goes quiet. Not a peaceful, gentle, quiet, but the kind of silence that echoes inside your chest. It's the moment when the people you trusted walk away, when the future you dreamed of just disappears, when every voice around you fades, and you are left alone with nothing but your thoughts, your fears, and your broken heart. That moment can destroy you, or it can remake you. This isn't a story about defeat. This is the story of a man who lost everything and in that loss, discovered who he truly was. Stay with me because this story might be exactly what your soul needs to hear today. In a peaceful valley, surrounded by tall oak trees and low rolling hills, there lived a young man named Ethan Walker. Ethan wasn't famous. He wasn't rich, but he was good. He had kind eyes, strong hands, and a heart that never refused to help anyone in need. He lived in a small wooden house with his father, Henry, a simple carpenter who taught Ethan everything he knew. He taught him how to carve wood, how to fix broken beams, and most importantly, how to build strong things from weak beginnings. Wood is like people, Henry used to say, his voice warm and steady. If you work with it patiently, it can become something truly beautiful. Ethan believed that with all his heart, but one winter, everything changed. Henry fell sick. The doctor came and just shook his head. The once bright fire in their home burned low. Days turned into nights, and nights turned into a heavy, suffocating silence. And then Henry was gone. The house that once echoed with his father's laughter became empty overnight. Ethan sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the unfinished cup of tea his father had left behind. In one single shattering moment, his world had collapsed. He thought his family would stand by him. He thought they would help him piece his world back together. He was wrong. 2 days after the funeral, Ethan's older half-brothers, Lucas and Aaron, arrived. They didn't come with hugs. They didn't come with comfort. They came with papers. "Father's land belongs to all of us," Lucas said coldly, his voice sharp as he placed the documents on the table. "You'll get the small hunting cabin near the forest. That'll be enough for you." "The workshop belongs to us now," Aaron added, his eyes devoid of any warmth. "You don't need it. You're just one man." Ethan's voice shook as he tried to speak. He looked at his brothers, searching for any sign of the family he once knew, but all he saw were strangers. He was being cast out, not just from his home, but from his own family. The very people who should have protected him were the ones tearing his life apart. They took the house, the workshop, and every memory of his father he had left. They left him with nothing but the clothes on his back and a broken heart. As Ethan walked away from his home, the cold winter wind felt like a reflection of the coldness in his soul. He headed towards the old, dilapidated hunting cabin, a place forgotten by time. It was small, dusty, and falling apart. The roof leaked, and the windows were broken. It was a place of total despair, sitting on the cold, hard floor, surrounded by darkness. Ethan felt a crushing weight of loneliness. He had lost his father, his home, his family, and his future. It felt like the end. He was completely and utterly alone. But sometimes, hitting rock bottom is the only way to find a solid foundation to stand on. In that cold, dark cabin, with nothing left to lose, a tiny spark ignited within Ethan. A flicker of his father's spirit. He remembered Henry's words. "Build strong things from weak beginnings." He looked at his hands, the same hands his father had taught to create. He wasn't just a victim. He was a builder, and his life, as broken as it was something he could rebuild. This wasn't just the story of Ethan's loss. This was the beginning of his new life. His journey from this point forward is one of incredible strength, resilience, and a testament to the power of the human spirit. It's a story that proves that even when you lose everything, you can still build a life, beautiful and stronger than you ever imagined. This wasn't what Father wanted, but his words were ignored. By sunset, everything was gone. The house, the tools, the land, even the memories. Ethan walked alone to the old, abandoned cabin at the edge of the woods. The roof had holes, the floor was cracked, the wind whispered through the walls, and the silence inside was unbearable. That night, Ethan sat on the cold ground and buried his face in his hands. "I have no one. I'm nothing," he whispered, and for the first time in his life, he truly believed it. Days passed. Then weeks. Ethan tried reconnecting with old friends in the village, but when people saw that he had no home, no inheritance, no future, they slowly pulled away. One evening, he saw them laughing in the town square. For a moment, hope flickered inside him. He walked toward them. The laughter stopped. One by one, they turned away. Ethan stood there alone as people moved around him like he didn't exist. His chest tightened. Is this really what I've become? Invisible, forgotten, worthless. That night, the cabin was colder than ever. The wind howled outside, echoing the storm inside his heart. He stared at the ceiling, at the broken wood, the cracks, the darkness. "God," he whispered, his voice broken. "If you're really there, I don't need riches. I don't need applause. I don't even need them to love me. I just need the strength to stand again." And then, in the deepest silence, he felt something. Not a sound, not a voice, but a presence. A gentle peace whispered into his heart, "You are not alone." For the first time in a long while, Ethan slept. He woke up before sunrise. His body still ached. His stomach still hurt from hunger. But his heart felt different. "If no one will help me," he thought, "then I will help myself, and I will trust God with the rest." Ethan got to work. He patched the leaking roof with broken branches and clay from the riverbank. He sealed the cracks in the walls. He carved a small table from fallen wood. He built a bed from scrap and rope. Every day, his hands bled. Every night, his muscles burned. There were moments he wanted to give up, but every time, he remembered you are not alone. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, the broken cabin turned into a small but beautiful home. Solid, warm, strong. In a forgotten corner of a valley, there was a dilapidated house, a shadow of what it once was, and just like the house, the man living inside it felt broken. His name was Ethan, and he had been left with nothing but the clothes on his back by his own two brothers. They had taken the family inheritance and left him to face the world alone. Days blurred into weeks, and weeks into months. Ethan's only companions were the silence of the empty rooms and the whispers of his own despair. One quiet afternoon, an unfamiliar voice shattered the stillness. "Hello? Is anyone in there?" Outside stood a traveling merchant, his face etched with worry, next to a wagon with a shattered wooden wheel. "Please," the man pleaded, "I'm completely stuck. If you can fix this wheel for me, I will pay you whatever you ask." Ethan looked at the splintered wood. He didn't have any professional tools, no fancy workshop. All he possessed were his own two hands, a deep well of patience, and a quiet, unshakable faith. For hours, he toiled under the sun. He carved and shaped new pieces from scavenged wood, reinforcing them with scraps of metal he had collected over time. When he finally finished, the wheel wasn't just repaired. It was stronger and more resilient than it had ever been before. The merchant stared in disbelief. "This is incredible work." "Who taught you how to do this?" Ethan paused, a rare smile touching his lips. "Life. And God," he replied softly. The merchant paid him generously, but more importantly, he shared the story of the man in the rundown house. Word of his son skill traveled like wildfire through the valley. Soon, a steady stream of people began knocking on his door. A farmer arrived with a broken fence that threatened his livelihood. A widow, living in fear, needed a new, sturdy door to feel safe at night. A young couple, just starting their life together, needed simple furniture for their first home. Ethan helped every single one of them. He didn't do it for praise or for riches. He did it because his own pain had taught him the value of kindness. His profound loneliness had taught him empathy, and his unwavering faith had given him a purpose beyond himself. Years went by. The man who was once left with nothing now stood in a humble workshop, filled with the warm glow of light and the vibrant energy of life. It wasn't a workshop built from an inheritance, but one built piece by piece through sheer perseverance. One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, two figures appeared at the edge of his land. They were his brothers, Lucas and Samuel. They looked older, weary, and consumed by shame. "We were wrong, Ethan," Lucas said, his voice barely a whisper. "Our pride destroyed our family. We chased wealth, and now we've lost everything." Ethan looked at the men who had caused him so much pain. For a moment, the old anger tried to surface. The old hurt tried to speak. But those feelings no longer had a hold on him. He smiled gently. "When you left me with nothing," he said, his voice calm and clear, "I thought my life was over. But, in truth, that was the day my real life began." His brothers left, humbled and changed by his grace. And Ethan, he turned and walked back to his workshop, his heart completely at peace. Ethan never became the richest man in the valley, but he became the most respected, the most trusted, and the most at peace, because he had learned one of life's greatest truths. When you feel like you have no one but God, you are never truly alone. You are being prepared, built, and shaped for something far greater. If you are listening to this today and you feel abandoned, if your heart is tired, if you feel forgotten by the world, remember Ethan's story. Your loneliness is not your end. It is your transformation. When the world walks away from you, God steps closer. When people try to break you, God rebuilds you. And when you feel you've lost everything, you finally have the chance to find your true self. You are not broken. You are being built. If this story touched your heart, please support our journey. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And